Hello, Virgo. This is your reading for the week of October 5th through 11th. Remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we're opening the reading today with the Creativity Oracle card. Look how beautiful that is. It says explore. Trust your imagination to help you journey through your inner landscape to find what you seek. So we're doing some inner exploration this week, yeah? And I think we're really looking for insight, looking for truth, looking for ideas, looking for inspiration, yeah? We're going to do our Dove and Serpent spread. We're going to do a hybrid. We're going to do half Thoth and we're going to do half Rider-Waite, okay? So here we have the Art or Temperance card. Yeah, to me that feels like we're trying to put ideas together. We're trying to see what things are really going to work. I feel like it's going to be a really creative week for you. Got a 7 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. We have a Knight of Pentacles now. Yeah, so we're getting these ideas, but we're going to bring them down to the plane of Earth and we're going to push them forward. We're going to start actually implementing these ideas. Yeah, and we have the Sun. To me, that is like we found what we're looking for. We found, well, this is happiness, this is joy and success and wealth for sure, but I think this is also clarity and insight, yeah. Okay, now for the other half, we're going to use the Pamela Smith or the Rider-Waite. We have a 2 of Wands. We have an Ace of Pentacles. You have a 9 of Swords and a Page of Swords. Page of Swords to me feels like we're bringing ideas again down to the realm of Earth, and I think that it's a week of experimentation, of curiosity. It's a week of really taking some of these creative ideas that we have and testing them out in the real world. Yeah. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during the show you know what that card is, drop it in the comments. Yeah. Let's look around the room. So we have our 1, 2 majors. We've got fire and fire. We don't have any water. We've got air, air, and air. We've got earth, earth, and earth. Okay? Air and earth seem to be the kind of dominant energies right now. And I think that's important because that's us thinking, considering, asking questions, getting ideas, investigating, researching, studying, going down rabbit holes. And then the earth is testing them out, seeing if they work, seeing if they make, practical sense. Okay, so I think this is a really good week for you to explore that fertile imagination that you have. I feel as if you're trying to make art. We got this art card right in the center here, and to me this feels like you're really inspired. I feel like you have this desire to create something in your life this week. And it might just be that we're kind of looking for solutions to problems. We're looking for like a practical way forward. Maybe there is a problem in your life and we're trying to solve it, okay? This could be a card of an ordeal. It could be a card of a trial or some kind of a test, and it may be that you're trying to solve this. I don't know. I'm getting a picture of somebody that's in an escape room and is trying to use their mind to figure out a way out of the room. And you're going to have to test all these different ideas, and you're going to have to explore different things, and you're going to you're going to look at the clock and see if you move the hands of the clock some way, it opens up some door. Well, no, that didn't work. So, it may be a lot of trial and error. It may be a time really of testing a lot of theories, and some things aren't going to work. Okay? But I feel that there's an added benefit to this. It's not just about solving the problem or pushing forward or getting the movement that you're looking for, getting to the goal, Sun, the success, the love, the joy, the beauty, the bliss. It's not so much about getting to the goal, but who you're becoming along the way. Like you're becoming a real problem solver. Why? How? Because you've had to solve a lot of problems. Like how else do you become somebody like that? By going through that ordeal. And that's kind of what this card is. It's a pressure cooker. It's the blacksmith's anvil. That you're refining something, and it's yourself. You're tempering something, okay? You're finding new ways to put odd things together. You're taking two ingredients in the kitchen and you're just putting it together and bang, there you got this delicious dish of something, you know? And I think that's kind of your exploring your imagination. Trust your imagination to help you journey through your inner landscape and find what you're seeking. I don't know what you're seeking. You let me know in the comments, okay? Drop a comment for me and let me know kind of what your big goal is this week. And the way you're going to get there is by realizing that, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a difficult thing. There's going to be trials and tribulations. It's going to be trial and error, basically, right? I mean, that's what it is. That's what this card really is. Try something, doesn't work, we're going to take it back to the lab, we're going to work on it, and we're going to try it again. It's very experimental, but it's also very artistic, very imaginative. To me, this is the blacksmith, you know, and this is somebody that's trying to figure out how to make the absolute very best thing that they're capable of. And it's alchemy. You're creating something out here in the world, but you're changing too. You know, the refinement that you're doing to whatever this work is or this goal, I don't know if you're in school, you're retired, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing, you're refining it, but you're also refining your soul. And you're becoming, let's say, you know, the problem solver, the sort of the mad scientist, you know, whatever, name your archetype. It's kind of like it's a good week to sort of embody that and realize that you're changing just as much as you're trying to change your circumstances or the material upon which you are directing your forces. Okay, so I feel like this is a super good card for you. It is that, you know, trial and error though. Okay, and I think this is going to be that week of trial and error, but we do have the sun nevertheless. So I feel like you are getting the solution or the result or the goal that you want this week too. I feel like by the end of the week, all of the trials and errors are going to give way to success and joy and real just, I mean, gold. This is gold, right? And the alchemist, this is the alchemy card, and this is spiritual gold. Maybe physical gold too. I don't know what you're trying to do exactly, but. And we also have this Seven of Wands here, which is, you know, it's very similar because it's saying that we're just continuing to refine something and we're continuing to sort of, you know, to fight for something and put in that effort that it needs in order to, you know, we're not giving up. It's definitely not a quit kind of energy. This Seven of Wands is Mars in Leo. It's very, very fiery, very enthusiastic. There is a lot of zeal. And there's a lot of emotion behind it. You know, we don't have water cards here because I think the water is not sentimentality. Your emotional energy right now is not just love and calm and peaceful and flow and just, you know, no, it's like fiery, passionate emotions. It's zeal, it's zest, you know, it's vitality. I think you're showing a lot of courage. So whatever you're doing right now, if you feel that there is opposition, there is resistance, or you're up against some odds, find your courage because that's going to see you through, okay? There may be an opportunity also for you to kind of come to somebody's defenses this week. I'm kind of feeling like maybe there's a friend or a family member that kind of like, you know, needs you to have their back, if that makes sense, okay? But just be careful that you don't get too embroiled into a fight, you know, for its own sake. I think that if you have to defend somebody or protect somebody, I kind of look at this card as like an underdog kind of card where it's just like you're coming to someone's aid or defense in a very like noble way this week, okay? So it seems like a lot going on for you. I feel that this card is also advising you to be careful about your emotions because I feel like there's a lot of fiery energy here. And there's a lot of this trial and error and experimentation, a lot of passion in your life right now. Just be careful that you don't let your emotions kind of take control of the wheel and drive the car. Yeah. Under the surface now, we have a Three of Pentacles. That's a card of work. That's a card of business. That's a card of like trying to make something work, figuring out the right configuration, putting something together. It could be an energy for, you know, assembling things, putting together a team even with this card. This is trying to take your idea and manifest it. Right now, the 3 is a potential success. Now, of course, we have the sun, which is gold. We also have the ace, plus the 3 equals the 4. 4 is the manifestation. 4 is the earthly success and the gain of money and influence and showing that something has reached that material plane of success. But with the 3, it's saying it's still just kind of it's like a prototype still, This is your idea now that you're starting to sort of put into a concrete form through your work, through your labor. This is a card of construction. This is a card of, creation. And I think this week is a time for like very practical energy. And it seems like that's kind of the theme today, at least for the signs that I'm reading for today. It seems like there's very practical energy coming in this week. This is a card also of material increase. So I think that what you're doing is geared toward making more of something. Okay, and it's kind of the alchemy. You got to have gold to make gold, And so I feel like this might be also some kind of an investment. It might be you realizing that, you have to put in time, effort, energy, money, and space if you want to get more time, effort, energy, money, and space on the back end, And so you're devoting, let's say you're devoting your time to something now because it's going to give you some free time later. Even more, there's going to be a return. You're giving something some space now, but it's going to allow you to have more space in some way, right? The same thing. I mean, it's the investment, and that's why it's an investment and not just an expenditure. Okay, this is a good week for business and commercial transactions. It's a good week for investments. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't do investments. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. I just sort of set it and forget it and whatever, hope and just cross my fingers. But I feel like this is a good week for you to consider your investments and how you're investing time, effort, energy, money, and space into your future, into your life, into your friends and family, into, whatever the work is that you're doing now. Okay, this is a time of doing that work, doing that investment. And I think that you're going to see some like dividends or some kind of interest payment or something this week too, because I feel that Sun card with the Ace of Pentacles is really showing that like some of this work is going to pay off. And maybe this 3 of Pentacles has been like a long time already that you've been doing this investment stuff for a while. You've been working on this business thing for a minute. And it doesn't have to be money or doesn't have to be business, doesn't have to be financial for everybody. But like when I say work, I say like whatever you're burning calories doing. I mean, literally whatever your work is these days, whatever your purposeful work is. And it could be a garden, it could be a book club, it could be your art, your creativity, it could be your family, it could be your relationship, it could be your, did I say garden? It could be you're working on cooking, you're working on physical health, physical fitness. It could be you're working on your studies, right? Maybe you're retired, maybe you're in school, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're working on. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. And now we also have the Queen of Swords, which to me is a very, it's a very discerning card. It's a very objective kind of energy here. I feel like this is kind of going off of a hunch a little bit. I feel that this might be even that we're sort of trying to like separate ourselves from the opinions and the advice and all of the data and energy and all the information around us coming from other people, etc. And we're trying to just like to figure out what we really believe about things. I feel like you're somebody that thinks differently than the people around you. I feel like you don't really hold the same beliefs as everybody else in your life. And so this, I think, is this was a time, and maybe it's a time now, or it's already kind of been a theme for you, of kind of like accepting the differences between you and other people. That you have different views with other people. Like you disagree on things, maybe the big ones, like religion, politics, that you have different ideas than the people around you. And I think it's kind of like, has been an issue in the past. I feel like now you're kind of trying to like not let that get in the way of relationships. You know what I mean? Like we can all live in harmony without all having to agree with each other. Like the Queen of Wands really has their own opinions about stuff, you know? And maybe this has in the past made you feel a little alienated, a little isolated from people, okay? And I think that, you know, realizing that we can all have different opinions and beliefs. We can all like different things and dislike different things. But the main kind of, you know, common denominator, right, is that we're all human. We're all just trying to do our best. We're all trying to do what's right, you know, and we can all be good people even if we believe wacky things. You know, in your opinion, they believe wacky things. They think you believe wacky things. We all believe wacky things, right? Everything's wacky, right? So I think that it's a good time for you to realize that your differences make you special, and the people around you, friends, family, strangers, whatever, people on the internet, they have different opinions too, and that makes them very unique, and it kind of makes them interesting, even if you don't agree with their ideas, you know? And so that Seven of Wands, we have to be careful with that, because that could then become that we are sort of, you know, taking on too much of this, too much of this kind of defensive energy where we're out there trying to like defend our beliefs to everybody, like we have to defend our beliefs, you know, or our opinions, or whatever you want to call it. And so I think that we got to be careful there. We got to try not to do too much of that, and just try to be in harmony, like allow people to have their opinions and different views. If we can, you know, if we can all just be good people and get along, you know what I mean? So I think it's a good time for you, especially with friends and family. Now, internet, that's a whole other animal, but at least in the people that are around you and close to you, try to accept that everybody's got their own ideas about stuff. Nobody really knows what's going on. We're all just out here trying to do our best and trying to find something, you know, kind of deeper to bond with people over, or even to appreciate the differences that we have, and to be able to have a conversation that, you know, doesn't get too heated or too overly emotional, right? When we're kind of sharing our differences with each other. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a theme for you this week as well. Now, the Knight of Discs here, right? This is someone who is really like has planted the seeds and is trying to get those crops to grow. Like is really, you know, ready for that harvest. Okay. And I think that this is you kind of looking into the future and thinking that, you know, a lot of the ideas that you have right now are needing to be planted in the soil and fertilized and, you know, nurtured and, you know, kind of the weeds cleared out, and really to focus on making some things grow, right? I think we're being proactive this week. I think that you're taking advantage of the sort of circumstances around you to implement some of your ideas. I feel like there's a lot of like fertile ground around you right now. And the Knight of Pentacles is going to take their ideas and they're going to try some of these things out. So I feel like wherever you are in life, you have time, effort, energy, money, and space that is allowing you to like test out your theory, to test the prototype, you know, to take some of your ideas and see if they function in the real world. Whether these are spiritual ideas or, you know, inventive, creative plans, business ideas. It's a good time to plant those seeds and try to get a few things moving forward. This is a card that's kind of saying like, you're more ready than you think you are. Yeah. That you're more capable, you have everything, you have more than what you believe you have. And it's a good time to focus on some of those things. I really feel that this is like something in your life that really needs action. That maybe you've had that good idea, or you've had that product or that idea for a service or the business idea, or you have like some kind of prototype already basically put together and been kind of sitting on it. I feel like it's time to push it forward a little bit more. Okay. I feel like time and space, the events and circumstances of your life are coming together in such a way that your ideas are going to be very fruitful right now. That the things that you commit to, the things that you do, your business idea, your YouTube channel, your side hustles, whatever they are, I feel like they can really take off and they can really grow right now. But you got to be willing to get off the horse and plant the seeds and use the, whatever, the hoe or whatever it is, and the rake, and get it done. Okay? So I feel like this is really a time of kind of hands-on, getting your hands dirty sort of action. Okay? This is also the card that's looking into the future and seeing what the goals are. And I think that in a way it's kind of saying, like, once you get out there and you look around, you're going to be able to see that your goal is a lot closer than you think. The success, the freedom, or the gold, right? The gold that you're looking for, the triumph that you're looking for, is a lot closer than you think. But we've got to be ready to take the next few steps. Okay, you have the Sun card here, which is that goal. This is a card of really of freedom. This is a card of truth. This could be pride, you know. But I feel that there's really like a glory here. I feel like there's a wealth, there's a triumph. This could be even a display, right? It may be like kind of these two cards together might be saying that, look, if you know, one, you have to make hay while the sun is shining, right? I feel like you also have to put whatever your idea is, you have to put it out there into the world. And it's going to grow. The sun, right? Putting something in the sunlight is going to really help it to become good and grow, right? It's going to either kill the germs, right? Put something in the sun, it kind of dries it out. It preserves fruit. You know, I had these neighbors when I was a kid that they were out on the driveway with these big, they look like pizza pans, big round metal discs, and they'd have all their fruit and vegetables on there, and they'd just be leaving them out in the sun. When I was a kid, I was like, what are they doing? You know? I realized they're drying their fruit and vegetables and preserving it. But anyway, the sun makes everything better. That's the point, okay? And so you put something out in the light of the sun, and it's going to improve. Of course, you leave it out there too long, and it'll burn. But the idea here is that if you showcase your idea, if you put it out there, if you give it to the world, if you put it on display a little bit, if you have pride in it and you say, look, this is what I've made, you know, and you have that sort of confidence and you put yourself out there, maybe you publish your YouTube video, get on the camera, say what you got to say, and publish the video and see how it's going to, that exposure, right? You need more exposure in your life, basically, is kind of what I'm feeling here. Something needs to be put on display. Other people need to be able to see it and draw nourishment from it as well. Okay. So I feel like this is really, this is the kind of pride. I feel like this is you letting yourself shine. And so there's a confidence that I feel is really coming toward the end of the week. And I think there's a courage here with the Seven of Wands too. It's kind of like right now it feels that we're kind of, feels like we're kind of feeling like the underdog. Maybe you have a small channel and you feel like there's just no way that you can go up against the bigger channels, right? But I think right now is the perfect time for small channels to put themselves out there. If you got a YouTube channel, if you got a small business, if you have, an Etsy or something like this, that you're a little tiny family store somewhere in a neighborhood, now's the time where those things can really thrive. But you got to put more effort into it. You got to, do the marketing. You got to have a presence. What you're doing needs exposure now. So go ahead and leave your small business, leave your YouTube channel or whatever in the comments of this video. Hit the like button while you're down there too. I forgot to mention that. This helps to push the video out to people that really need to see it. So let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. And if it's your Etsy or, your Instagram or your YouTube channel or your website, your small business, your family store, your corner store, whatever it is, maybe you have one of those little pack and ship places or something, right? Just put a link down in the comments. Now's the time to really do that push, because I think the small business, or whatever it is right now, or the small, kind of like the underdog, right? The underdog really has a chance to rise up right now. And I think that's going to be really, really good. Two of Wands here as well. This is a card of creative energy for sure. It's about you stepping out in this bold, creative, independent kind of energy. This is really a willful energy. And it shows a fierceness. Okay, it shows that you're willing to take that big, bold move. You're willing to kind of plant your staff. You're planting your flag in a new place. That you're staking your claim in something, and you're it's almost just like you're putting that ad in the yellow pages and you're thinking, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. I have just as much right to be here as anybody else, and here I am, and I'm going to grow, and this is going to succeed, and, you know, it kind of feels like you deserve to be out there. You may not be as big as everybody else, or have the resources or the backing that everybody else has, but you can do it, right? Otherwise, this card becomes impatience and becomes a restlessness. We're just pacing up here on the ramparts on top of the castle, just kind of like, I don't know what I should do. No, you're looking at the world and you're thinking, I can have the whole world. The world ain't so big. I can put myself out there. I can do it. Yeah. And so you're going to make hay while the sun is shining. And this is that bold energy. It's a week of confidence. It's a week of taking something that you've been working on and taking it to the next level, taking it to the next place. Go bring it to the trade show or the convention, or put it out on the internet, or make a video, or submit it to the place if maybe it's a manuscript or whatever it could be. Okay. But this is a lot of energy and strength, and I think whatever you're doing right now needs a big push. Yeah. You also have the Ace of Pentacles here. I feel like this is a gift of a new kind of opportunity. It's in the position of your environment or your relationship. Some of you might be considering a move, or starting some kind of a new job, or really taking a new product to market, something like that. I feel like this is an opportunity for you to sort of show off something, you know. For some of you, this is the opportunity to make an exit. And so some of this trial and tribulation energy that we talked about, some of that might be you trying to figure a way out of something. Like I said, it's kind of an escape room. And then some of that vibe, it's just like, it's like you're trying to develop this business or this product that's going to help you to like get out of debt, or like get out of the old job or something, right? Or sort of make that big next level up, that big step of your life. And this might be the gift for that. This might be the week where you can really make some headway in that direction, getting yourself out of a situation that you don't want to be in. Maybe it's just, this is the ticket out of the pressure cooker. This is the ticket out of the lab. This is like, this is the ticket out of the basement, And I started out in the basement of our kind of dank house where there was a lot of mold, and it wasn't the best environment. It was very cold down there. Many of you probably remember a couple of years ago when I was in the old house in the basement, and in the wintertime you could see my breath on camera because it was so cold in the basement. I couldn't run a heater because it was going to be too loud. The microphones would pick it up, and but anyway, I had these gloves that I'd wear sometimes. And yeah. So I had so many candles back then, right? Because I was cold. No, I never told anybody that. But now I'm still in the basement, although we have a new place. We moved into it last year. But anyway, this is that ticket. This is that thing that's going to bring you out of where you don't want to be and into where you are supposed to be next. I think this is going to be a week of prosperity and abundance. I think this is going to be something in the material world is coming your way that's really going to be kind of a symbol even, or a token of that, that creative energy. So there's some, I don't know if this is like a finished product. I kind of feel that this is like what the sun is shining on, that this is kind of proof that like what your idea is, what you've explored. You've used your imagination and you're finding what you were seeking, and now you're kind of like, you're making it real. Like the sun has shone down on the earth and has created this wonderful thing here. This is the spiritual sun. This is the physical sun. Okay? This is the creative light of the sun is now materializing in your life as some sort of abundance or harvest, some sort of gain. Okay? And I feel like this is a harvest that's coming in through your effort. It's not a gift, right? Not a gift. The Nine of Swords here is very interesting because this is in the position of what we don't want. And this, of course, is anxiety, frustration. It's a restlessness. But it's also a mental discipline. Okay, it kind of shows someone who's losing a lot of sleep, right? But I feel that they're comforted. They got this nice comforter on them, and that comforter is the Empress. I feel like that is kind of the promise of the life. That's the promise of the abundance ahead of you. But you got to have a mental discipline, which means you can't let yourself fall into despair. which is very easy to do when you're in a pressure cooker. Okay, I watch those kind of, or watch like Survivor, or there's this other show that they had, which is a bunch of celebrities that were doing like a Navy SEAL training, like BUDS training. And it was such a cool show. And I love the BUDS and SEAL training shows and all those. I love that kind of stuff. Big respect to any of the service personnel. Thank you for your service. I love watching that kind of stuff. Maybe in another life that was me, but you know, there's a mental fortitude that's required. And I think I've heard this in a lot of places. It's not even the physical challenges that are so hard. It's the mental stuff. And if you got your mindset right, you can do anything you want. You can accomplish anything you want as long as you keep your mind right. And I feel like that's our Nine of Swords right now, is trying to stay focused and stay hopeful and stay disciplined and not let our challenges become, you know, rage, anxiety, frustration, restlessness. Okay? And so it's kind of like we're sticking to the plan, and we're staying fortified, and we're staying comforted by the knowledge that this is gonna work, this is gonna be beautiful, this is gonna change your life. Okay? And I think I think that's a good card to have. In this position is the best place for a Nine of Swords, because this is where we recognize what our challenges and what our obstacles are, and we know that we've got to stay mentally tough. Yeah. And we have a Page of Swords next, which is, this is action in response to an idea. So this is like saying you have a thought and you're going to act on it. You have an idea, you're going to try it out. You have this, well, maybe this will work. And then we're going to flesh it out. Okay. So it really is a good week for experimentation. It's a good week for like, kind of, you know, doing a test run of something. You know, it's a good week for like just putting a sample out there. It's like you're making you're making great Mexican food, and then just make some samples and go out on the street and give some samples away with a business card or a flyer or some coupons or something, you know? Like just try these different things out. It's a good week for experimentation, but implementing those good ideas, seeing what really hits, seeing what works. You know, and the only way to do that is to kind of send something out and then see how people respond. You know, like you're going to release your video and see like, what do people say? What do people think? Like do a focus group kind of deal or whatever it is. But it's important that you get that, you know, you get that plan put into action. It needs that physical energy to it. Okay, really needs that physical. This is also, to me, it feels like the connection between your imagination and the physical world. And that's where the ace, and that's where the sun and the ace really come into play, because this is the connection between what you imagine and how it actually shows up in the physical world. Okay, and I think you're exploring and you're trusting that imagination, and you're finding a way to then, okay, this is what I see in my mind, this is what I've created, you know, in the physical. So the Page of Swords to me is that link between the imagination and the physical reality, the physical world. Okay, between psyche and soma. Yeah. All right, so let's look at the mystery card. I think I want this to be the Empress or Pentacles, 9 or 10 of Pentacles. Let's see. Well, it's the Hermit. It is your superpower card. And I think it's saying, like, you know, just get your head down and get to work. Don't be afraid of the spotlight. Don't isolate. Don't hide yourself away. Don't dim your shine. Let yourself be seen out there. And maybe in a way, like, it's not even about you, but it's about the work. So it's maybe like you don't have to be in the spotlight. Maybe your work, like, will speak for itself. We can look at it that way, okay? I feel like it's a week for that kind of inspiration. The lamp inside of us, that inner illumination, is you exploring your imagination. This is a card of introspection, right? And what are you doing? You're exploring inside of yourself. You're exploring your imagination so that you could bring something to fruition. And so maybe there has been solitude for you, and maybe this still is, like you don't want to be recognized. You don't want to be famous, but you want your work to be in the spotlight. It's like, don't shine the light on me. Shine the light on what I'm doing. Yeah, and I think that really is that's a very That's like a very cool way to be. You know, I like that. It's not about you so much, but it's about like what you're doing or what your, you know, what your work is or what your service is or what you're trying to shine the light on in life. Okay? Whatever it might be, you know. And so I feel like you might have that desire to sort of remain anonymous, okay, and that's okay. But definitely bring what you're doing into the spotlight this week. And realize that you have something very significant inside of you that needs to come out into the world, that you need to give expression to what you're finding in that imagination. You got to connect it with the physical world, and you have to work on manifesting that imagination, bringing it to the concrete form. Yeah. Now, if you want to go deeper, click on through to the extended reading, hit the join button right below. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do oracle cards. We'll clarify love. We'll clarify money. We'll do the yes/no coin. Virgo, I thank you. I love you, and I'll see you there.